Let's go ahead and start. We'll call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. We have one addition to the agenda. We have to approve a warrant, Charlie Foxtrot 3 for the cemetery fund. So we'll add that into the first section when we get to here.
Recording stopped.
Sorry, 1 second.
Recording in progress.
So we need to review and approve the minutes of the previous meetings. May 1st was the regular select board meeting. May 13th we won't be doing today, we'll be doing it the next meeting. That was just a short meeting to approve a liquor license.
I move that we approve the minutes of May 1st, 2024.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion on that? Any inputs? All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes of May 1st, 2024, vote, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. All right, we have 3 warrants to look at. Warrant 23 is the standard bills that we pay every month. It's about $19,000, covers fuel, electricity, various things that we do pretty much every month. There was nothing staggering on there that was different than normal. And warrant 23P is for payroll. Again, normal set for everybody, for the town employees, is $11,000. And then the cemetery fund warrant 3, CF3 is for, is it $34?
Yes.
Yeah.
For some,
Yes.
for stakes.
$34.65.
For stakes, for the vampires. No, it's for marking stuff in the cemetery. So we have all 3 of those up for approval.
Sticks.
It said stakes. Somebody told us about it.
I move we accept warrants 23, 23P, and CF3.
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion on it? I'll try to do it for you. Out of order. All those in favor of approving warrant 23, 23P, and CF3, say aye.
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous. ARPA funding,
Nothing.
nothing to do. We spent all our money.
Close to it.
All right, so we got a bunch of visitors here. Welcome. See what everybody's here for. And I think we've got everyone's names.
I think so. Unless
Alright.
somebody snuck in over there.
We'll check. The mouse in the corner. All right, road foreman's report. Lee, do you have anything you want to address as the road foreman stuff prior to the 4 items on here?
No,
We need to know about? Okay.
no, there's nothing urgent.
All right. All right. West Village right away, Town Road 61. I think a number of you are here for that. So let me go to my collection of items. So the goal for this meeting is to summarize where we're at on this. And to let everybody know that we have a huge folder that Alex is looking at of deeds and various other items that we're going to leave here in the town office for the next 2 weeks. So people can come in and review them, take a look at them at your will, take notes, provide inputs, or anything else you want to do. The plan right now is we want to try and vote on whether to move the process forward of discontinuing the road at the next meeting at 2 weeks. So everybody's got time to get caught up. I know that some folks are traveling right now and aren't here tonight. So a couple of things, I want to kind of try to get this in order so we're all on the same sheet. So I think it's important to know that I want to make sure that everyone knows that the town does not own the northern part of this. We call it a road, but it ends somewhere between Natalie's property or at the corner of your property and your neighbor. Where the exact line of demarcation is, I don't have that information. I know how far the road's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 0.14 miles from the start of turning into the community center and around the corner and up. We'll try to nail that down, but that's not a huge contributing factor to the discontinuance of the road, right? So there's 3 ways a road can be discontinued that will start the process, called 3 triggers. 1, the select board can vote to start the process of discontinuing the road. That vote will be in 2 weeks. That's one option. The other option is 5% of the town's residents can sign a petition to bring to the select board, and that will then trigger the process of discontinuing the road. Doesn't mean it will be, it just starts the process. The third way is an abutter who who, and this one doesn't actually apply as far as we know. If you're in a butter to an what's the term? Unidentified corridor, that one person can specifically ask that that unidentified corridor be thrown up or discontinued and become part of their property. The definition of an unidentified corridor, just so you know why it doesn't exist for this particular road, is there's four requirements that have to be met for it to be unidentified. It have been laid out as highways by the proper authority at the time of creation, and do not, as of July 1st, 2010, appear on the town highway map. This one does. Not otherwise clearly observable by physical evidence, and are not legal trails. So unless all four of those are met, the single person applying for the road to be discontinued doesn't apply in this case. So those are the three ways we're going to get to the process. And then the process, once it starts, either through the select board deciding to start it on its own, or the petition from 5% of the voting population of the town, that then goes into a notice of a meeting within 30 days, notification of all the abutters, site visit, followed by a meeting here where all evidence and opinions and everything else be collected, and then the select board would make a vote on whether or not to start the process, whether or not to throw up the land. So the select board's involved twice here. Either we can start the process or the public can start the process. But at the end, either way, the 5 people sitting here will vote yes or no whether to throw up the road. Are all those things kind of clear on how to get through this? Are there any questions that anyone wants to throw out or ask? Believe me, I spent a lot of time on this. So I know far more about discontinuing roads than I knew I would have to know. So you didn't tell me about this. So
How many is 5% of the population?
we'll have to get that number from Lori. I don't know I know the town, 1900-ish, but it's voters or property owners. So it's probably going to be, I'm going to just guess somewhere between 60 and 80-ish. And again, go ahead.
Do you have any background of when the road was laid out and why it stopped right in the center and didn't go through to West Street?
We don't. My concern for the northern part of the road is I'm not a particular fan of having our town attorney or Eliza spending a lot of time sorting out the private road issue. How that northern part came to be, or why it stopped at 61, or why it stopped where it does stop, is a little bit of a private road ownership issue. Because all we'd be discontinuing is up to the point where that road ends. That would have no effect on the northern end. It may have an indirect effect, but that's not something that we can decide. And I would think that if we throw up the road, it'll only be from the north side of the community. Obviously, we'll keep the road into the community center and library, because that's the first part of it. So it'll only be the portion from your property up to wherever it stops.
Well, the only thing I wanted to say about that is the current town map. When you look at it, the end of Town Highway 61 is darkened, which means it's paved. And that's exactly the end of the road where we're speaking as a private road. So for me, the map isn't the territory.
That's right. And if you look in here, the deeds for at least 3 of the properties on the northern end are in here. And there is a section of it that's highlighted in yellow, which is done by Roger as he's printing these. But in the deeds themselves, there's a dotted box around that section of road. And I think at least in one of them it says indeterminate as far as who owns this bit of land. So it's, there are records available. And in the next 2 weeks, there's a few things I'm going to ask the attorney to follow up on. Mostly, how are we going to figure out exactly where the road ends? Because it does have, if there's a town road and anybody abuts that property, if the town road is discontinued, those people who are abutters still have access to that area. You can't cut them off, right? And there's two different, if that's your sole access to your property, this is one side of it. But the other is, even if it's not your sole access, if you have a link to that road, even if it's thrown up, you still get access to that road. So that would happen down the part. And, you know, what you sent in with some of the court cases that talk about that specifically, you know, that is, you know, obviously in play. But I did want to just make clear for that northern section, you know, that's a little bit beyond the purview of the town highway 61.
Well, the reason I'm curious about that is because I did look at previous town maps on the state site, and as recently as 1980, that road did extend to West Street. So I'm wondering if there was some decision at some point in saying, no, when we laid out the road, it only goes this far.
I went back and looked and pulled up all the highway maps, there's what, every 6 or 7 years. And really from even after World War II, there may be maybe in 1980, but looking at it never, and the ones I looked at, which is probably about 8 or 10 of them, it never went to West Street.
Yeah, the more recent ones don't.
Yeah. And you did bring up the good point that Riverside Road on the north and west side was discontinued. And that was sometime between 95 and 2004 because it changes in the map.
Yep.
And so I want to do a little bit of research on that and how that process was done. I imagine it was the same way. So again, the goal is to come back in a couple of weeks to vote on whether or not to start, but that doesn't have to happen at all. I mean, a petition can start the process, and there is then no vote whether to start it. It will start. So those are the options. Yes.
I just want to speak on Riverside Drive. It never was a town road.
Right.
There's only 52 feet at the start of it that was, but all the rest of it was, it wasn't the railroad bed. That was still running when my grandparents built here and those 3 lots were sold. So it's just that little tiny beginning of it,
Right.
and all the rest has always been private.
It's interesting because again, looking back at the old maps, I was trying to figure out when it changed.
Yeah.
It's listed on the town maps as,
Now the town was getting state highway.
which is the same thing as this. So we do get some state highway funds for.
Yeah, and that's what because Wayne Emery was measuring it, and we were, but it was never. There's a difference between getting funds for it and owning it, and they were.
Okay.
It turns out we were getting funds but not owning it.
Interesting.
The town, so I remember that going on.
Well, that history would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
Again, this is my first discontinuance, but
Yep.
there's just there are just some intricacies. But again, the key is understanding the north part's it's not town owned, and understanding how to trigger the process to discontinue the road. As long as we everybody's here for that and understand that, then we can move forward. I have no desire to move forward or not move forward. We'll just do whatever works.
So Todd, with folks here tonight, do we want to listen to opinions, or are you wanting to wait?
No, if
For
people
2
have
weeks.
stuff they want to throw out, because you'll have time in 2 weeks too. It's not going to be we're just going to vote. So if there's input, we are more than happy to hear it. I know we stood outside and talked at your place. I've driven the road in a little Hyundai, and I got through it. I was wondering if you were home. 'Cause you probably
I wasn't home, I saw your track, so I wondered who drove back there.
Well, that was right. So I could get over it. It's but any submissions of any letters or anything you want to send, go ahead and send them. We'll gather them all and try to put this all together into a functional decision. And I guess also it's important to know that, I'm not saying this would or wouldn't happen, that the select board could take up throwing up the road. And then at the end of the process, after the meetings, the site visit or whatever, and all the facts being presented, you may then decide not to do it. Right? So it's not that it's going to be yes on one and no on the other, or vice versa. I think it's just how it's presented.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm wondering so on our deed for the Wicker property, which was part of the Davis farm years ago, it looks like on the tax map that our property meets in the middle of the road and we're paying taxes on that, as is the Grange and Carrie Toll's property. So we're all paying taxes, I think, on that property. Am I wrong?
So we can pull the deeds out, but so the way I see it, the way I saw it, so in the northern properties up there, So Carrie's yours, not yours, Carrie's yours. Who's landlocked back there? Is that you?
That's us.
And then the Davises are north of you?
Right.
Wherever that line is where the town road ends, north of that, those properties own to the middle of what is now that gravel road. That is part of it, as far as I can tell, part of the deeded property.
Okay.
So you own half the road on your side.
I gotcha. Okay.
And there are some deeded right-of-ways already, easements. I know you've got one. You guys have one because you have to get out.
Right, and I think we have a right of way for Drew Durham so he can get to his back property
That's
too.
right.
So I think that's part of ours, so you can always get to your property.
Well, I have comments if it's
Yeah,
open,
no,
if the
please
floor
do.
is open.
Oh yeah, it's open.
Okay, so my name is Guru Dharam Khalsa, and I reside at 25 Lion Street with my wife Catherine O'Callahan, who's sitting next to me. And together we've owned the property for 60 years. I'm sorry.
60?
I'm sorry.
Whoa,
No, that's not true. I take that back.
this testimony is questionable.
I misspoke. So together we've owned the property, which is bisected by Highway 61 for 20 years. The strip of land is directly behind our house and is 14 feet wide from the narrowest point, which means that the right-of-way of any town highway is 50 feet, which would run directly through the center of our house. The strip of land has been cultivated as a lawn for at least 30 years since the elementary school closed in 1994. And we care very much for that piece of property, which is about 150 feet long. And it's been surveyed, so we know exactly where it ends and the post office house begins. Our house was built in 1954, and that is the year that Dora Gray granted the school district of Dummerston the right to pass over the land and reach Grange 401, and which held the land until 1998. So at present, there is no public necessity to pass through from the former school to the former Grange. The lane has outlived its original purpose. In the Vermont statutes, there is a legal presumption that if a town does not maintain a road for 30 years, the road is presumed to be discontinued. There being no necessity, convenience, or public good that is served by the lane, it should follow the other precedents in town where roads have been discontinued. The most basic definition of a road is that it is traveled. The portion of Highway 61 on our property is not traveled, and so despite the highway map, it is not an actual road. As for the extension of the town Highway 61 to the north to the abutting properties, there has been a presumed right-of-way since the railroad pulled up tracks in 1939, 85 years ago. The historical evidence and precedent is in the ground itself, which has served to provide access to our backlot, an access that cannot be reached from our property. I urge the board to take this opportunity to discontinue Town Highway 61 because to do so otherwise would maintain a fictional town road on the highway map. The lane can become a private driveway from the north end and serve as access for residents only. A private shared driveway is also how we access our property from West Street and is also the case for Riverside Drive. For tax-paying property owners are advocating for discontinuation, and I request that you represent our present-day interests by erasing a defunct and fictional town highway.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Thank you. We'll move on to the next on the roads. Lost my agenda. Here we go. Putney Rowing Club. So there's a question from the Putney Rowing Club while we're on the roads as to where Dummerston Station Road ends. It wasn't really clear. If anyone's needs something, feel free to. Here we go. Not sure. They're worried about security of the boathouse down there. So apparently there's an A-frame at the end of Putney Road, Putney Station, or Dummerston Station Road. Is anyone familiar with the area? Who does that belong to?
I thought the rowing club.
No, they said So what they say is we're not renting, nor do we plan to rent the A-frame on the property. So that would imply to me that someone else owns it.
No, the Putney Rowing Club owns the A-frame. Is that what you're asking?
Oh,
Yes.
do they?
Yes.
Oh, they mean, so they don't plan to rent it to someone else,
That's correct.
to rent it out. Okay. Are you here for the Putney Rowing Club?
Yes.
Oh, well, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Got it. So what you have is Dummerston Station Road heads down there, and at some point, and again going to the maps, it sort of looks like the road ends before the river,
Looks like it ends when it hits the railroad right away.
the railroad right away.
Yeah.
And so there's been some vandalism down there.
There's been people camping, starting fires, burning, look like they're taking the wires, the old telegraph wires along the rail and burning the copper, burning the insulation off the copper, and they've broken into the A-frame and probably have stripped out, went down into the basement and, probably tried to find copper in there. I haven't ripped out the wires or anything yet, but they haven't torn into the walls. But also, we, in our current boathouse, which most of you are familiar with up there closer to Putney, it's gone on and on. I mean, we have, the cops are supposed to make turns down in there, but we've lost boats, had the place broken into, boats stolen. These are hard boats to replace. These are kind of priceless boats that Graham King made, and we're just worried that the same thing is going to happen down there. We thought if we could put a barway just beyond the railroad underpass there, that at least stops the vehicles from going in there.
So the ask is that if the town owns the road up to whatever point,
The
Let's
ask is that
that you could then install
then we could install
a
that.
gate of some sort.
That's right.
To-
And of course, we know Ricky Derrick has property to the south of us. He would, obviously he would still have a right of way to that. He would have a key to the gate.
How often is he back there? I don't know, I'm asking.
I would
Like,
say
how
once
often?
every 6 years.
He's gonna lose the key.
Yeah.
So the ask is, how far down do we have control of the road?
Yes.
And once we know that, can you install a gate to prevent vehicular traffic, which, like you say, somebody's gonna have to get out of the car
Yes.
and walk further? Okay.
Yeah.
I was not clear on the gate install. I knew it seemed to be a security issue.
It's definitely a security issue.
Is Lee still here?
Yes.
Lee?
Yeah.
How far down do we own Dummerston Road?
I thought it was right to the river.
All the way to the river?
Yeah, class 4.
Alright.
But same thing, I haven't measured that out.
No.
If you look at the map and add the distance, both the Dummerston Station Road is class 3 to just before the interstate and then turns into class 4.
Right.
And if you add the two distances, 0.22 and 0.58, you get 0.8 miles.
Right.
And if you measure that on the parcel map, it ends, the two, both the parcel map and the parcel viewer and the road map are consistent in that the road ends at the railroad right of way. And that's about 145 feet west of the tracks.
That's how we do it too, is measure it out in what the state map shows. So if that is the case, then I would say it stops at the railroad tracks.
Okay.
The fire department though does pump out of there for,
Well, we
so
would
give
them a
Right.
key to access the river for that for sure.
Do we have any other roads in town that are gated for any reason?
Yes. Bear Hill Road and North Hollow Road. And they have to be an unlocked gate. And it does prevent a lot of trash or things like that out there.
All right, so how about we, Lee, can you follow up on this in the next couple of weeks? Just
Measure.
Yeah, let's
I'll measure.
see
the
where
other
they're
one
at.
over in West Street too.
Right. Because as long as it goes to the railroad where you want to put the gate, it doesn't matter how far it goes beyond that, right? And it's not going to be close enough to the river to cause a problem with A&R. I mean, I'm on Wyndham Regional, so I know you guys are going through the A&R thing on the boathouse situation.
Yeah.
So
We would be on the extreme western boundary of our property where that gate would be.
Extreme western, okay. And nobody else.
Is that right?
The
Yeah.
railroad.
The boundary is at the end of the the abutment for the railroad crossing. The road goes under the tracks, and there's some stonework there, and so the railroad's right of way bumps out a little bit to incorporate all the structure for that underpass, and that's where our property begins.
And are you willing to put a sign there
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
that says
Yeah.
something?
Yeah,
So they don't drive down in there and then,
get jammed up.
yeah.
All right. So Lee, do you want to coordinate with, does anyone here want to kind of coordinate with Lee on this?
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
You all figure this out?
Yep.
And then in 2 weeks, we'll come back and
Sounds great.
we'll vote on whether we want to put a gate up or have you guys put a gate up. I mean, I understand the issue, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anyone else? Alex, get us.
Well, I'm looking at the Vermont parcel viewer, and if you could look at this for a minute, just to clarify for me. So this is
Eyes
the
on first here.
property we're talking about. Here's Station Road
Yeah.
coming down, and it goes under the railroad tracks
Yes.
here.
Yes.
And what is this your
That's where we
storage?
That's
Well, that's where we intend to
started.
build the boathouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the A-frame's right about where you have the cursor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just to clarify the A-frame, so do you guys own the land down there that you want to put the house
Yeah.
on, the boathouse on?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they own this strip of land, long, narrow.
5 acres. That the widest point is about 100 feet wide.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I know. Okay. Excellent. All right.
Okay, well, we appreciate it.
Yeah. No. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Thank you for stealing your stuff.
Yeah, it's not. Now if we just get the.
You guys, y'all were waiting for the Putney Rowing Club, and now you're leaving.
They want to hear that.
Like once I've heard that, I'm ready to go. Thank you for coming.
Thank you all.
See you later.
Lee, come on up. Let's do some paving bids.
You're in the 60s.
Get rid of the rest of these folks.
60s, yeah.
That was one of the others.
That was 2017.
All right. Lee, you do the honors.
Yeah, just, do we want to,
Sure.
want to do that?
Bring it in there, Tom. And this is for paving. I know it's a road. East-West Road?
And,
Miller.
Miller Road. It's just. Tom, what you got?
How far on East-West Road from KOA to
To Schoolhouse Road or to the bridge.
the bridge? Yeah.
Okay, so
Including the bridge?
Yeah, it should be milling and
northeast
paving.
paving? Yeah, milling and is shim and overlay, is that paving?
Yes.
Okay.
So it should be 2 different prices, one for
Okay.
the,
So $150 a ton for the paving, the shim and overlay, coming to $264,000. And for the milling, $275 square yard, is that what that SY is?
yes.
Okay, and that comes to $47,173.50. So a total of $311,173.50.
So that's Northeast Paving, right?
Northeast paving.
Is anyone here from Northeast Paving, or you guys are?
Also known as Eurovia Atlantic Coast, in case that matters.
All right.
Okay, so 311,173.50. And that's for, that's for both, for the east, west, and for Middle Road.
Okay. Okay. Lee, what do you got?
Okay, so this is all states.
Who's all state? All right.
And for paving, it's $96.50 a ton. And for milling would be $1.75 a square yard.
Can you give us some totals, or do I gotta do them?
There's no totals.
What?
It's significantly cheaper.
Throw it out. Just throw it out now.
There's no totals. I can give you
That's gonna be like 180 for the.
We wait 2 weeks anyways before we, because there's a lot of math and.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
That's gonna be like almost $100,000 less.
It's 185, 126, 25.
185, okay,
185.
total. Good, he's got a calculator in his folio.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got there, Paul?
I've got 1,795 ton of 3/4 inch shim and 1 inch overlay for $174,025.25. And then 2 inch fine cold plane for $27,120 for a total of $201,145.25.
Who's that from? It's
This is Basin Brothers.
Okay. All right.
And you're with Basin Brothers?
So we'll have to do that math unless you got it on there per ton. Oh, it's on there.
It's on there.
Is there
Okay.
for the
All right.
million?
You
How
want
much for the
a copy of
million?
that one? I mean, that's,
The million is 27.
if you just get a copy of that.
That's the million.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's paving and shimming at 174.
Fine.
million.
$1.50, okay, yeah.
And what was my per ton price?
Paul, what was the per ton price?
Per ton price,
This one here, right? 96, 95?
You guys are close each year.
Oh, 96.
Yeah.
Doesn't say like anything about
yeah, then you have a quarter more on the milling.
what the,
Fell first, and so
You guys wanna-
same price last
You
year.
guys want to take this outside?
That was the identical price last year.
So we'll look them over and, no, we usually wait 2 weeks before we decide.
So,
Now I'll have to figure out the milling price, what that comes to, and the paving price, what that comes to and what the total comes to, and
so Lee, you'll
All
take
that
care of
fun
all
stuff.
that and then come back with a recommendation in 2 weeks?
Yep.
All right.
thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
And I don't know how you can be so close each year.
And I got the distances on that.
and whereabouts on east-west
Did you want to
does
see
this go
this?
from to, you know?
I think
Trying to think of it.
from KOA
To
to the bridge that hits Schoolhouse Road at the three-way
In
intersection.
Slab Hollow.
Okay.
Slab Hollow. See, know that. But they don't pave the bridge, right? Or do they pave? The bridge is a whole different.
Yeah,
If we went on a tour with Lee,
right,
all right? Lee, is there anything else on?
alright. Now, I just had a couple of things. The energy audit for the garage was done. I don't know if anyone's seen that or if anyone wants to see it.
Energy Commission?
Yes. Committee.
Sorry.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Appreciate
Bye, Lee.
Like,
Come on.
and then, we've been working down on East West Road. You've probably seen the emails. We're getting that ready for paving and then doing it, grant aid there. Yeah. We did have a beaver pond let loose up on the big power line, and it came down across Camp Arden Road about probably like 5 feet deep and 20 feet wide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not falling,
Took
Beaver
out.
Pond did what?
Sometimes they'll just, wash out.
Yeah.
Just for, it was on a nice day.
You said washout on the West River?
No, it's a beaver pond up on the big power line.
Oh, wait, towards Newfane?
Yes,
North?
yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
I understand.
right there.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Confident beavers.
Yes, exactly. And so it did a little damage, but not bad.
that happened on Beaver Pond Road some years back, I remember.
Yes, that's what I've heard. I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything?
I'm gonna be going to Maine next week, so if you wanna get together towards this,
Oh, yeah.
sometime this week,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm free.
Right around noonish works good as far as,
What day would be good? Where do you wanna meet there?
actually down on East-West Road, because that's where we're working.
Okay.
Even, you want to do it tomorrow?
Sure.
All right, tomorrow at noon down there. And then we just, so we just need to, do my best to remember the wheel, to measure that out.
I have 100-foot tape if you need it.
Yeah, that's, well, you can hang out the window and hold the wheel.
Hey, if you want to take the wheel and go 0.14 miles.
Yeah, it needs to be done there too.
And figure
It
out
does.
exactly where the road ends.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we can do that.
all right.
And, right, if everything works out all right, maybe we can just run over there and do that too.
All right, so you want me to meet you down, all the way down there?
Yeah,
East-west?
yeah, down in East West, we're doing the driveway culvert right there. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's near there.
go down towards the school and then just go right there across the big bridge, right at the top of the hill. We'll be right in there.
Okay.
You won't miss us. We'll be plugging the road up.
There'll be signs that said the road's closed.
Yeah, exactly.
Through traffic.
You're allowed to go.
They'll get flag, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get your special select board license plate? They would let you, they just let you through. All right, thanks Lou.
All right, well, have a great night.
Correspondence, anybody have any input or questions on any of those things? I think we've probably seen all the refiles, I don't think anything requires voting or anything else. I am, speaking of not leave season towns, I am gonna go back to the right away real quick. I'm gonna contact them just to find out like what happens at the end of the discontinued road process. If the select board decides not to discontinue the road, like what is the appeal process, right? Do they go after the town if they still want to discontinue, but like just what that further step is, and I think they'll have that answer. But as far as I can tell, it belongs to the select board.
The road gets divided.
That's right, I'm just saying.
The homeowners, do we sell it to the homeowners?
Yeah.
The town?
The deed is changed to subsume that road into their property. Right, correspondence for discussion. Native plant trust, I think we sorted out. Lori, we're just not gonna mow up front until whatever finishes blooming, blossoming, or gather seeds. They did it last year too.
Those are bluets out there.
Yeah. I was pretty excited to see grasses grow. I was working, so I did not attend the BDCC Southern Red Zone Folks Group, which I was going to. I'll contact them and see if they have copies of the deck. Playground committee request for Port-a-Potty. We don't have any money, but the recreation board does have money. So I think what we'll do is recommend that they go to the recreation board and see if they can split or get all the money for the Port-a-Potty.
Yep, that makes sense.
Does anyone want to contact do you want me to just respond to them and ask them to contact the rec board? Who's the rec board? Who's our
Maeve Jenks.
rec board?
And there's a Margaret something, there's just two of them.
Right. I'll get their names. I'll probably give them a heads up before I let the school know so they know it's coming. New business, so the local hazard mitigation plan, which is somewhere in our records. So I went through and looked at the items that we asked them to change back. The names, the contacts, the item 13, which is I think was the ATV, and item 14, which was the I-91. So they changed those to not will be done, but we'll consider, over this time. So she made the changes that we were
And not
looking for.
specific to that location, right?
And yes, somewhere between exit 3 and 4.
Yes.
So those specific location is not also in the roof. So, so they did everything in there. So somewhere in the documents.
In the new business
In the
folder.
new business. So if there's if anyone wants to make a motion,
I'll make a motion that we approve and sign the updated local hazard mitigation plan.
I'll second that.
all right. Any further discussion on it? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. That's unanimous.
It should be in the new business folder.
That was the other one, the grand list.
Oh, that's the grand list one. Yeah, well,
I think it's this one you want, right? Oh, wait. Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put that with,
Right here.
yeah, we'll sign the ones we need. Don't sign the second sheet in there, we're doing that next meeting.
Yeah, the grand list extension.
Yeah.
Okay.
Farmland Protection Fund monies, a lot of other stuff has still been tabled.
You wanna do some appointments?
Oh yeah, skip that. Yeah, let's do some appointments. So we had 3 people who came in today. So I'll just go ahead and make a motion. I wrote down that we appoint Nick Bayerko to the Energy Commission, Lou Tyke to the Conservation Commission, and Bill Conley to the Conservation Commission.
Second.
It's Energy Committee.
Energy Committee. God, why do I keep saying that? How come we have committees and commissions?
No idea.
Energy Committee, we wanted to go to the right classroom. You second it? Any discussion on those? Right, all those in favor of those 3 appointments, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I'm gonna make a motion separately. I don't know when and if we're ever gonna get Ron Speck in here, he's just busy. I think everybody kind of knows him, and he wants to be on the Conservation Commission. He's been at the last couple of meetings. He used to run Vermont, New Hampshire vet clinic. He's been in town forever. I think everybody kind of knows him. So I'd like to make a motion to, without interview, to appoint Ron Speck to the Conservation Commission.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so that one's done. I'll send letters out. I'm gonna send a letter to the chair of the Conservation Commission to notify those people. It'll be analog. Do you want to let Nick know that we voted approved? Okay. You're so subtle with it. Do you want to appoint people? I like it. You keep me in order.
Yeah,
Like, do you want to do the agenda? So, farmland protection monies. I gotta get with Chris on that.
Okay.
And I will promise to do it this time.
So we need to sign some stuff here.
Salmon Creek erosion. I have the RFP for the engineering and design ready to go. I'm gonna have Lee take a look at it. I have Megan, who does roads, have a take a look at it. She has a lot of experience with this, as well as the state guy take a look at it. I finally got hold of him, like, is there a different process that has to be done for federal dollars to the state? Is there some huge RFP process? He's like, just do it like you would do it for a state money. And so basically we took some older examples, and I sent some from Megan, and kind of just put together an RFP for the engineering design.
And who's Megan?
Megan is she's the Vermont roads person who works this area. She works with Lee. I can't remember. I'll send it to you though. So she does this all the time. And so she brought some other towns examples over that we could use. So I'm hoping after the review that can go out Friday with a 30-day return, and then we'll get bids. We'll open them. We'll decide, and then we'll move on to the RF. Hopefully we'll get plenty of options.
So is there supposed to be a separate warrant for the cemetery fund?
It's in there, sign. It's in there.
See
It was on the right-hand side. I think it's behind the private payroll, right there.
Oh, there it is.
On top. Isn't that it?
Okay, well, there's a third one there.
And there's one on the left side. Yep. Next regular meeting is May 29th. There'll be a few more, like I said earlier, I'm gonna have a few more little bits of research done. I'd like to figure out what town road ends, for sure. And then we'll just see what the decision is. We're looking to read the deed stuff. I read a lot of stuff. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I can probably point you in the right direction if you want to look into these things.
Yeah, I'm still working with the sheriff on some issues that I have, Where do we get our money from? I want to track the money.
The ticket, the fines?
The fines,
Right.
because we had, for April, we had a total of $2,555. And then we got a check from the ACC, or VACC, for $189.50. I just want to find out where this money's going.
And Chris may know too. He may know when that money comes in.
Well, I worked with Chris.
Oh, okay, right. All right.
No, I think we all.
There was
not enough money. Okay.
Actually kind of knew this thing, another letter on speeding from Jody Normandale. And I responded to her.
And also Dummerston has 25-mile-an-hour speed limits on their dirt roads. Not Dummerston, but
Right. Another town, Putney.
not Putney.
Brattleboro.
Brattleboro. Their dirt roads are 25.
I'd be interested to know is that just simply a town choice? Does the state have any
That's
involvement?
that's what I'm going to try to
Okay,
find
that'd be
out.
great. I'd be curious to know, not to give you more silence, I would be curious to know what the sheriff's department
Sign that one. You don't.
thinks. Obviously, they must look into this. Like, what do they think are the best methods for speeding? Right? Is it just presence? Is it just patrolling a certain amount of time? Like, what does law enforcement use?
Yeah. Well, they spent a total of 11 hours and 25 minutes patrolling last month.
And was the rest? So it was like 22 or 23 hours. Was the rest of the time stationary? I thought the sheriff's report had. I thought they'd issued about one ticket per hour, right? So was it like 23, 21, 20? Because you paid for 21 hours a month.
We didn't get 21 hours.
Alright.
11 hours and 25 minutes.
Oh, that's interesting.
We
That's
had
bless you.
15 warnings and 6 fines.
Alright. Alright, anything else that people are angling to discuss? No? Alright.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Alright, and we are adjourned.